Our Northern Ireland reporter Dougie Beattie has been finding out more about how this Russia-Ukraine conflict and the related East-West economic war is impacting the UK economy. Dougie, over to you.
Well, hello and welcome to Stormont, where most of our decisions are made, or not as it is. But yes, the budget yesterday said about security. The biggest security that he could have is to secure his raw materials for food for his own people. You keep the prices of that down and all of a sudden you can get your inflation under control. Now, we've been going on about it for weeks, the price of fertiliser, diesel, the barley and wheat, and of course all of this is playing into the mix of that inflationary targets. I spoke to George Eustice yesterday and asked him about Ukraine and asked him about the inflationary pressures that were going to be felt in Britain. Amazingly, he says that it's somewhere between 6 and 8% they're expecting on food prices by the end of the summer. You've got to ask, is that now to then or from last year to then? And you also have to look and say to yourself, well, the crops aren't in by the end of the summer, so how will they possibly know what the inflation will be on food? Here's George Eustice.
We're obviously seeing some very sharp increases in input costs, particularly on fertilisers and on diesel fuel. That's linked to the price of gas, which has gone up as a result of this shock. And we're also seeing agricultural commodity prices rise sharply as well, with the price of wheat doubling. When it comes to our own food security, we don't import very much from the Ukraine. We're almost self-sufficient in wheat, and the balance comes predominantly from Canada. However, we do import significant quantities of vegetable oils, in particular sunflower oil, from the Ukraine, and so that's obviously an area that we're looking at. Well, look, inevitably, if you get sharp increases in some of those input costs, and the price of certain animal feeds has gone up by about 25 to 30%, that is going to come out in some sort of impacts on the retail price. The Institute of Grocery Distribution have done some modelling. They estimate that food price inflation could be at between 6 and 8% by the end of the summer. So, some significant rises, but also from a relatively low base. We do, as a proportion of household income, spend less on food than the majority of other EU countries.